This is the most important lesson within the series, so you need to listen up very, very carefully. In this series, we're going from zero to hero. We're going from not having a clue what any AI influencer stuff is to being able to create the most advanced AI influencers on the market. And we're doing all of this with minimal information about all of this nerdy stuff, not knowing how to code, and just using basic resources that I'm providing you within the descriptions. This lesson here is going to be on datasets. Now, datasets are extremely important, and I'm going to explain exactly what a dataset is, how we're going to get one, and why it is so important. But it's basically going to be the foundation images of your model. So whatever images you gather today or after this video is going to be impacting your AI creation over the next month or two when you follow this series step by step. So today, I want you to listen in as best you can, rewind it if you need to, fast forward if you need to. All of this kind of stuff is going to help you get the best data set possible, therefore being the best model. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and as always, wait to the end because that is when the most important information is, because that's how I love to do it. Little storytelling, easy stuff at the start, hard, advanced, technical stuff at the end, just so none of you feminine blokes kind of get overwhelmed at the start. So let's crack into the first little tutorial on how to get the best data set. Hello, how are you doing? So this is going to be a tutorial on making a data set. Now, like I mentioned, the dataset is probably the most important thing when it comes to content generation. So if you don't have a good dataset, you're going to have a very bad Allura, and this is obviously going to cause some problems. So today we're going to be going over a small sequence on how to make a dataset so that if we go back up here, we can then start fulfilling our journey. Now, this is obviously step 2 in the process. After you identify your niche, you then need to come to your dataset, so then you can then make a high quality Allura. Now, if you can see here, the dataset is also attached to number 4 and 5, and obviously 4 and 5 down here as well, because if you make a low quality dataset, then you're going to have a low quality product being created. So let's go all the way down to here, and let's start off with the first step of generating a dataset. Now, this is creating a face. Now, creating a face has been very hard in the past, mainly because a lot of the time people go to generators like Foul.ai, which is the main one that we're going to be using on this journey, and they can't make a face because it's very inconsistent, like I'll show you now. So with these kind of generators, you can type in a prompt, however, it's going to generate a different face pretty much every single time. As you can see, that's not bad quality, but if we generate another face here, it's not going to be the same model. It may look very similar, but it's not the same model, so that's kind of the problem. So to fix this consistency problem, we need a Allura. And to get a Allura, we need a dataset. And to get a dataset, we need to generate a consistent face to be able to put into the dataset. We obviously can't do it like this. So how are we going to do it? To create the same image over and over again. Now, a lot of people think if you just click number of images, generate 4, it's going to come up with the same 4 faces. But as you will see, it will not. And that's a problem, because the first thing that we need here to generate a face is let's say like 4 pics of the face that are consistent or the same. This is obviously very, very important. If we don't have 4 pictures of the model's face in kind of different angles and it's the same face, then that's going to cause some problems, and we're not going to be able to do this. So if we have a look here, as you can see, they're different models. You may struggle to see that because you haven't been using AI very often, but if you look carefully, they are just different models. The eyebrow structure, face structure, lips, they're not the same. So how do we fix this problem? Now, luckily for you, I've created a little workflow which I'll be showing you in a minute. Here it is, and this is just turned into a very basic generator, so you can get an image like this with 4 faces that are all the same in very different angles. So let's talk through the process of why we need to do this. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create this face, and then we're going to create a Allura with this face. Now, what do I mean by a Allura? A Allura is basically a collective of images that you're going to put together so that when you click generate on something like this, the generator knows what type of face you want it to generate. So you normally put the Allura in here, and then if I had an Allura attached and typed in this prompt, and obviously the model was blonde hair, blue eye, it would be the same consistent face every single time. And this is going to be done by creating a face Allura to start off with. The face Allura is once again going to be created here. So let's get into how we're going to make the first or the second step of generating a dataset. We need to create a face Allura, which is the first section. So let's talk through how we're going to use this. Now this is going to be public to you guys. Now unfortunately it is going to cost a little bit of money, mainly because I haven't worked out a way to make this generator free yet. So you guys, yeah, unfortunately it's going to cost like $5 or some shit. They are £5. But once I work out a way to create this generator and make it for free, I'm going to be able to do so and give it to you guys. But at the moment, it's going to cost me tokens each time you guys use it. So I've had to put a very small price tag on it. But this is going to save you hours of work. So it's very good. There's no profit margin on this really either. This is kind of a flat rate. It's just going to break even. It's paying for the tokens that are going to come out of my side. So apologies, but hopefully I can get it free in the future. Anyways, so what we want to do is get these 4 faces here, and we want to put it into the load image. So you can simply download this, you can preview and download this image, and then obviously add it into the load image here, which I'm going to do now. Now once you've got it like this, you kind of want to angle it and set it up correctly. So we want to have it in this kind of landscape, kind of portrait, landscape, fucking hell. We're going to have it in this kind of portrait structure here, and all we need to do is adjust this to make sure it fills the top. Now make sure it's not cut off, it needs to be dead on ratios, so make sure it's filling correctly like that, and then press OK. So that's the first thing. The second thing, we then need to type in a prompt. Now we need to follow the prompt structure that's in the background here. Now what I'm probably going to do is actually put a reference prompt down here, so you guys can easily just copy and paste it across. But luckily for you guys, I've got a pre-made prompt. I'm just going to copy and paste in here. But make sure you just follow this structure here. Now this is going to be what you want your model to look like. So a close-up of a young woman, or Aussie man, or whoever you want to do, and then obviously following these things. So you want to put their name, that's very important, their age, where they're from, so you need to put their location, just because this is going to help with the prompt generation. If you don't put a location, then it's going to be less consistent. Obviously put a race, structure of face, hair color, all of this kind of stuff. Everything basically step by step. And then obviously the last few things of explaining the image. Once again, I'm going to try put a prompt just down here, so you can just copy and paste it in and then edit it as will. So there we are. I've got a little one here, which I just put in. Like I kind of said, it's the exact same, different name, Manchester, blah, blah, blah. I don't even know where I got this prompt from. Pretty sure I just ChatGPT'd it. Screenshot that and then ChatGPT'd it to my model. But this is what my model is going to look like. This is what I want her to look like. I'm then going to click generate. Now this is going to take a little bit of time to load, but what it's going to do is generate an image down the bottom right here. Now if you have a look at the tokens on the left, it says uses left. You get 20 uses. So when you buy it from a little shop, £5, you get 20 generations. Now this should be plenty. You should be able to make 2 models out of this. If you prompted correctly here, then your output is going to be fairly similar to what you're going for. So if you look here, I've got a model which is from Manchester. She's got light olive skin, sharp jawline, bright green eyes, yeah, blah blah blah. You guys can probably pause that and read that. Brunette, long hair, etc. Now this is going to generate an image of this kind of structure here. So now as you can see, it has generated basically exactly what I prompted it to generate. Now if you didn't like this, then feel free to kind of generate again, adjust the prompt, blah blah blah. You know, just like the standard kind of generation, you've got 20 generations here. So out of the 20, if you're prompting correctly, like this, with enough description, then you should be getting the correct result. One thing I would mention is do not screenshot this on the right hand side. If you screenshot it and insert a very low quality image into this load image, then you're going to have problems with quality on the output. But as we can see here, this is very good quality images. And this is perfect to put into a dataset. In fact, what I could have done is even put a high quality reference image in, and that would have got a high quality output. So, nice one. We're going to download that, and what we're going to do is crop these down into 4 individual images and then train Allura. Now this is a really simple process. You just literally want to crop them down. I wouldn't recommend upscaling them because it's going to give that airbrush feature. I'm obviously doing this on Photoshop. You can do it on Canva, you can do it on your phone, but you know, simply just like this, and then export image. Now, one thing I would obviously mention here is if this model isn't exactly what you want to look like, or maybe the skin's a little bit too airbrushed, you can obviously improve the quality at the moment by obviously editing this, like Facetune, Face App, or anything like that. You know, if you want greener eyes, add greener eyes in, that's absolutely fine. You can edit them at this section here. Sweet, so we got our 4 images. Now what we want to do is train Allura. Now what you want to do is, firstly you want to go home, and we're going to try find the foul.ai settings, because I know a lot of you guys struggle. So firstly, come to this kind of screen here on foul.ai, and this is where we're going to train our Allura. Now this Allura isn't going to be our final Allura, this is just going to be the first initial Allura that's going to help us train our data set. As you can see, there's lots of stuff here, very long-winded. What I normally do is just type in flux dev, and it's going to come up with flux dev fast Allura train, which has just disappeared. Maybe just flux, see if it comes up there. There we are. That's the one we want. And this is going to cost $2 to train Allura, so it's cheap as anything really. If you were to go to anyone else, it's going to be more expensive. You then want to insert your images here, use that reference name, and then obviously press enter, and it's going to create your Allura. After doing that, then it's going to have an output. So let me just show you quick. So insert your images, trigger word. This is something that we're going to use in our prompts, and then obviously press start. There is a more additional settings here, but I'll just ignore them. Just crack on like this. This is absolutely fine. After that, it's then going to give you something like this on the right hand side. You then want to run interference, and it's going to give you a generation screen. So let's do that now. Sweet. So you press start, that starts loading. And this normally takes about 10-15 minutes. So I'm going to leave it there and come back in a minute when this is all good to go. But once that's good to go, once again, you just click run interference, and that's where we're going to start creating our data set. Nice one. So that's loaded. You then want to click run interference. Now this is going to pull up this obvious. Now this is going to pull up foul.ai, and this is where we're going to be creating images. Now this is where we then split into the hard and the easy mode. So we've got step 4 and step 4 here. We can either use images from foul.ai, this is the easy mode, or if you've got a workflow set up, then obviously go to this one and set up your workflow. Now it's up to you. For this example, I'm just going to be using foul.ai for the easy mode, and maybe in the future we can generate some more advanced images. But what I'd recommend doing is, if you do use foul.ai, then I would recommend kind of editing your images a little bit, because the dataset is very important, and what we put in the dataset can affect the Allura at the end. So if we make these images on foul.ai, as step 3 kind of states here, then on step 4 you may want to edit or upgrade any of these images, because if they're low quality and you put them into the Allura, then you're going to have a very poor output. So if you use the easy option of foul.ai, which we're going to be doing in this episode today, then make sure you edit or upgrade them via skin enhancers and all that jazz that I'll go through later in the series to be able to make a better Allura. If you've got comfy, then most of the time you don't need to worry about it. But let's go into it. So after foul, this is where we're going to start prompting and generating good images. If you're using comfy, feel free to just copy and paste this path into your comfy workflow, and I can kind of show you how to do that potentially in the future. But this will be your Allura path. You can simply upload that into comfy, nice and easy. But this is where you're going to want to generate prompts and create images. So firstly, I want to kind of put it on Square HD, just because what we want is very high quality images to be able to put into our Allura. I would recommend Square HD or Portrait 3.4. I wouldn't really go Portrait 9.16 yet, mainly because that's going to drop the quality a little bit. So I'm going to go for Square HD. I'm also going to put this around 43 to 59. You may have seen a tutorial on this before, but this is just going to mean the quality is a little bit higher. And then the CFG, that can normally go between 2.5 and 3.5. So today I'm going to have it on 3, might as well. Let's just crack on. So let's type in something very basic to start off with. Normally what you would want is quite a long prompt, so like 2 or 3 paragraph prompt, but I'm just going to start off with a keyword, which is B, and then I'm going to type a basic prompt. So what I've just done here is created a very small prompt. This is off ChatGPT, and the end of it, obviously I couldn't really be asked, but if you want ChatGPT sitting at the bar or whatever. But you basically want to put in a prompt here, and you want to click run. Now you guys obviously make more specific prompts on what you want to generate, but I'm just here to show that this is going to create the consistent face that we created a minute ago on a Mimic PC. So if we look at this image here, once again, it's not the best quality, but as you can see, it's very, very similar to this model. So let's zoom in a bit. As you can see, very, very similar qualities, same eyebrows, same hair, same eye color, and so on. Let me generate again, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to up that to 2 because I'm happy with that, but I'm actually going to lower this to 2.5. So this means consistency may drop a little bit, but the quality of the image may up a little bit. And let's generate now. There we go. So that's just generated 2 more images, and if you look back here, they are the model once again, which is pretty good. So we can then generate quite a few images, not just images like portrait kind of style like that. We can also generate a few images of the model's face, which we can then put into a new Allura, which we'll be doing on step 4, and that's going to be the final Allura. So this is going to be how we're going to be creating our data set. Using this Allura that we just made, so we can get a consistent face, create the images to be able to make the next Allura. Now step 3 is currently what we're on. What images do we need to make in this process? Now what I'd recommend is 8 facial expression images. So these are the highest quality images of your model's face, similar to this, which is very good, and you want to make 8 of them. This is kind of like an 888 process. This is a minimum, by the way, so 8 minimum is kind of what you'll be aiming for. You also want to make some unique poses. So unique poses are basically like, instead of the model just sitting here, square in front of the camera, you want to have a bit more diversity in how they're sitting. So maybe sitting like cross-leg, slight face to the side, looking over a shoulder. All of these kind of things are very important. Now 8 of them images, once again, is a minimum, but you're aiming for the highest quality images. So don't just settle for half-heartedly shit created images. It's not what we want. And then body. Now the body is going to be the hardest one, mainly because this Allura we've just created is based on the face. So the AI doesn't know too much about what body it wants to make. So you need to make a good prompt based on the body that you want to make, and then you want to generate about 8 images. Now this is going to be a fluctuation of images that are close up and images that are far away. The close up images going to be very easy, just images a little bit more body than this. However, the far away images might be a little bit hard because the face might drop consistency. So this is where using better workflows like on Comfy means that you're going to have the upper hand, or you're just going to have to use a few more tokens to generate some good body faces. But that's definitely going to be the harder one out of the mix. But once you've got a minimum of 8, 8, and 8, then you want to continue on to editing and then making your new Allura. If you've got like 5 face images and then like 2 body and 2 unique, then you're not going to make a very good Allura, and your Allura in the future is going to be very inconsistent. If you've got low quality face images, then obviously your Allura in the future is going to create very low quality face images. So this kind of content that you create here is going to determine the output. Now this is why we want to edit or upgrade. Now I'm not going to show you how to do that in this episode, mainly because that's going to take fucking ages. But face tune, you can edit, face app, Photoshop, skin enhancers. Oh, great. It's another one, or even just like workflows, comfy workflows that are going to make your images better, because the images here aren't the highest quality. You can obviously get a lot better than that with this Allura on another workflow. So workflows, all of these things are going to help you be able to upgrade your model massively and edit your model. Portrait Pro is a good one as well. Pro, yeah, sweet. There's another one which I use on Photoshop quite a bit at the time. So it's actually integrated in, which is pretty good. If I go here and pull up Portrait Pro, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, all of these things are going to be able to help you enhance your images. And then you want to do is train your final Allura. Now, once again, the Alluras that we're going to be training is the same as what I showed you earlier. It's simply the fast train Allura, that one there. However, if you do know some more complicated and more advanced ways to make Alluras, then feel free to do so. But this is just going to be a simple way to make a Allura, which you can then reflect across to any other comfy workflow. Mainly because a lot of people, they don't really want to be fucking around with loads of workflows and all of this jazz. So just creating a very basic Allura here means that quality may drop a tiny bit, but it's still going to be fairly good and fairly consistent, especially if you've got good workflows. If you've got a very bad workflow, then obviously the images aren't going to be as good. But this is basically how you'd make a data set, and hopefully this all helps. The golden gem is step 2, where we use this mimic PC section here, mainly because it's very, very hard to create that first initial Allura if we don't have them 4 pictures of the face that is consistent and exactly the same. Because creating a data set is going to be very, very hard without it. So this process is going to be able to help you out a lot. Now, obviously, if you didn't want to do this process, you didn't want to do step 2 and 3, because I know it is quite long-winded, you can simply just go buy a Allura from a marketplace. It's literally $100. It's very easy. I know some people charge like $400 or $500, but yeah, fuck that off. You don't need to pay that much money. You can get a simple, good Allura for about $100, and yeah, it does the job. It's very, very good. So if you want to skip these 2 steps and get a more advanced Allura, then feel free to do minor investment to do so. It's going to save you a lot of time, because this whole process that I've just shown you today, it's creating a data set here. This little bottom bit, let's get a little pen, a little circle. This takes quite a while. I'll probably say, if I had to guess off the top of my head from doing it many, many times, probably around 4 to 5 hours. So it is quite a long process. It's not just a simple 10-minute job. This is quite a ball ache. So yeah, stay consistent, work hard, crack on, and hopefully this is done a little bit quicker, or obviously just invest. Depends on what you've got going in your life, how fast you want to move. So hopefully you've enjoyed this episode, and hopefully it's helped. And if you do need any kind of tips in the future, or if anyone does find a way to be able to get this workflow out to everyone for free without having to fuck around with Comfy, then let me know, because I'll happily do that for you. Hopefully you guys have learned absolutely everything you need to know to be able to create the best data set possible, to be able to make the best Allura possible for your AI model. As I mentioned, Alluras are extremely important, and data sets are how you get a good Allura. If you don't want to do this process, you think this is fucking long, it's quite expensive, then you can simply just buy Alluras. There's an AI model marketplace in the description. If you want, I can probably chuck a little discount code down there so you can get a discount on Alluras. So it'll probably be about $100, but that's going to save you this whole episode, a whole load of admin saved, so you can then just jump into the future with these advanced Alluras. Obviously, you don't have to. Feel free to go through the mission. I know doing it independently sometimes gives you a little ego boost, a little bit of motivation, but once again, it's always there if you need to. I buy all my Alluras, mate. I can't be fucked for this process most of the time. It's quite long. So firstly, I'd say give it a go. Hopefully a lesson helped and you can understand it and you can actually apply what you've learned. If not, no worries, just fucking crack on and it'll be absolutely fine. But yes, the description is most important, so make sure you go there. Make sure you watch episode 1, 2, 3, because this is going to be the most valuable YouTube videos you're going to find when it comes to AI design, without having to learn all the nerd shit. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much and see you next time.